Hey guys, today I'm going to be giving you guys some closed door book recommendations to help you get into reading. If you can't already tell, I'm not in my room, I'm in my parents' room because I don't know, I just thought the lighting would be nicer in my room. It's pretty big, but I just have a lot of stuff and there's not any like open spaces for me to film. So it was kind of inconvenient having to bring all my books over here, but let me know if you like this setup more because they don't really mind me filming in here. So most of these books are books that I own, but I do have a few that I don't own that I still want to share, but that'll be at the end of the video. So here are the books I'm going to start out with. First off, I feel like the queen of YA books, Miss Lynn Painter. I only own 3 books by her, but I've read every single YA book by her, so I'm going to tell you what's good and what isn't. So first off, Better Than the Movies. I know that you've heard about this, and I know that most of you have probably already read it. First of all, if you're not too into reading, you might not know this, but there is a second book, which I think is even better than the first book, so just to put that out there. But I'm not even going to explain this book because I think everyone knows who's in it and what's it about. And then Fake Skating is her most recent release, and this one I love so much. And then this one is actually getting an adaptation, so if you want to read it before it comes out so you can be like an OG, then this is your sign to go do that. And then also she has a new book coming out soon. Definitely hop on the train to that. And then she does have a book called The Do-Over, which I do not recommend. I did not like that one, just to be super like open and honest. I did not like that one. It was like magical realism because there was a time loop involved, which I just didn't like. But Betting on You, I don't own that book, but that one is like one of my favorites. I really adored that one, and I think more people need to talk about that one. Okay, next, this is a book that I recently read, but Anna and the French Kiss. I'm not going to explain this one too much because you can go watch my spring break reading vlog where I talked about it, explained it, and then gave my review. But let's just say I gave it 5 stars. I really liked it, and I'm really excited to continue with this series because this is a trilogy. Next is Rival Darling. This is also, again, a trilogy called Darling Devils, and the 3rd book just came out, I think, like a few months ago, which I haven't read yet. But I have read this book and the 2nd book. I really like this. It's a super clean, cute YA hockey romance. And it's also fake dating, so if you liked Better Than the Movies, this might be one that you want to check out. Next is the author Liana Cincotti. I'm so sorry. I've like heard people say her name so many times, but I just still can't really pronounce it. But this one is probably the one that you've heard of, and this is Picking Daisies on Sundays. The first time I read this, I didn't really like it, but recently I reread it and I loved it. This book is so good. It's so adorable, and this is her debut novel, so I think that's really impressive, and she posts a lot about it on TikTok, so you should go follow her. And then this one is the one I really liked. I gave this 5 stars. Don't Be in Love. It's a super cute romance that takes place in London, and it's very similar to the one I just said, Anna and the French Kiss. So if you liked Anna and the French Kiss, you should read this, and if you like this, you should read Anna and the French Kiss. Now I have to go grab the second batch. Starting with Borrow My Heart by Casey West. This book is so adorable. So this book has a really cool concept. Basically, the girl, she's at this cafe and she sees him and his friend, and they're waiting for someone because they're trying to meet this girl that he's been talking to online. But from someone who's not in that conversation, she can so clearly see that he is being catfished and that he fell for it and that the person he's meeting up with does not exist. So she decides like, oh, I'm gonna be like a good person and try to help him not get embarrassed in front of his friend because his friend is clearly laughing at him, and she decides to pretend to be the girl that he's talking to. But she ends up actually liking him. He ends up really liking her. I believe she's working at a dog shelter, which is just super adorable. And then the main dog, his name is Beans. Anyway. Next is The Summer of Broken Rules. Again, this is another book that I'm sure you've heard of. But basically, this is about Meredith, and it takes place at her family, her grandma's vineyard, and it's her cousin's wedding. This one's really cute. Basically, it's kind of senior assassin, basically, but obviously they're not seniors, it's their whole family. And she ends up teaming up with one of the groomsmen. So it's super cute, super cool dynamics, and then this is the perfect summer read, obviously. And then there's also some subplots talking about grief because her sister had passed away. So it's a really good read. I actually recommended this to my mom and she read this last summer, but I think I read this a few years ago. But this one is so good, and I'm sure most of you have already read it, but if you haven't, you really should go read it. Next is Love and Gelato and Love and Olives. So this is actually a trilogy, but this is only the first and third book. I didn't really like the second book. The second book is Love and Luck. I honestly would skip over that. You can read it if you want, but I didn't really like it at all. Anyway, they're super cute, super sweet romance books. I really like them. They're just adorable. This one takes place in Italy, and then this one takes place in Greece. So if you like Mamma Mia vibes, this one's really good. This one seems a lot chunkier than the others, but it's not. I flew through them. Next is The Match by Sarah Adams. I've read almost every book by her, and this one is just one of my favorites. I think it's like the most wholesome, cute. They're all super clean. This one, it's super cute, and I think that the characters, the storyline is a lot different from any other book I've read. But basically, Evie Jones, she has epilepsy. I know I'm saying it wrong. I'm so sorry. But anyway, she works for this business called Service Paws, and basically they just help trade and give service dogs to families that need them. And basically he has a daughter, and she actually has the same thing as Evie, and she hacks his computer and emails Evie and is like, oh, like, let's go meet up and talk about the dog. So they end up going, and he realizes that his daughter tricked him, but then they actually hit it off, and it's adorable. It's super wholesome. And then some other books I recommend by her are The Off Limits Rule and When in Rome, Practice Makes Perfect. Those ones are some of my favorite ones by her, and I don't know, I just really like her writing. She's super cute. Next is Emily Henry. I've read almost all of her 5 most popular books. That's Beach Read, People We Meet on Vacation, Book Lovers, Funny Story, Happy Place, and the last one, Great Big Beautiful Life. Yeah, so these are my top 3 favorites. People We Meet on Vacation, that one just came out with a film, so I'm not going to explain it because it's just been talked about so much recently, but I love this book, super good. Happy Place is super cute. It's about these 3 couples that every summer they go to this really cute cabin, and it's adorable. And Harriet and Wynne, they're the main couple of the story, and basically they were engaged, but then they realized they actually wanted to call it off. But when they come back for the summer vacation, they don't want to tell the other, so they decide, okay, let's just fake it for a little bit and then we can come clean. But then they realize why they fell in love with each other in the first place, so it's really cute. Next is Funny Story. I love this book. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically Daphne is fiancéed with Peter, but then Peter leaves her for his best friend, childhood best friend, whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, the girl he leaves her for isn't single, she's taken. So now Daphne doesn't have anywhere to go. She just got dumped. They're just moved into a different place. So now she decides that she's gonna move in with Miles, and Miles was dating the girl that she got left for. So it's kind of confusing, like when I say it like that, but it's really not. It's super cute, it's super wholesome, and then there's a lot of deep subplots, which I enjoyed. Okay, now I'm going to say the rest of the romance books that I don't own. I just have a list of them. First is 1,000 Boy Kisses and 1,000 Broken Pieces. I can't really explain either of them without spoiling them, but I'll just say they're both so good, and they're really sad. There are some really, I wouldn't say dark themes, but some really just big sad things that you might want to check trigger warnings for, but I can't really explain it without spoiling it. But they're just both so good, and I just love them. So yeah, and 1,000 Broken Kisses is about the sister of the girl from the first one, but they're just so good. Next is I Hope This Doesn't Find You by Anna Liang. It's basically about these 2 academic rivals, and they hate each other. And she, every time she gets super angry with someone, she'll write a really mean email to them, but she won't send it. She'll just draft it or delete it. But one day all her emails get linked, so they get sent to a bunch of other people in the school, but also him. It's really cute. And if you liked To All the Boys I Loved Before, this is kind of a similar thing, but instead of love letters, they're hate emails. Next is Anything by Nicholas Sparks. A lot of his books are, well, all of his books are clean, closed door, or no spice at all. And then they also, some of the books are centered around Christ. So if you're into that, there's that too. But I wouldn't say you have to be a Christian to read it, because a lot of his books aren't. So yeah. Anyway, my favorites are The Rescue. That one I gave 5 stars. A Walk to Remember. That has a movie. I watched the movie, which I didn't like as much, but it was good. A Bend in the Road and The Lucky One. The Lucky One I think also has a film. But yeah, I just really love Nicholas Sparks. His writing is super wholesome. Next is The Naturals. It's basically just about a bunch of these teenagers that all live in this house ran by the FBI, and they all have, I wouldn't say superpowers, but just really cool abilities. Like her, she's really good at reading people, so she can tell if they're lying or just other things about them, which is really interesting. And they just all work together to help solve close cases, but we all know how that works out. There's also some subplots of romance, which is really cute. And I didn't finish the series. There's 5 books out right now, but the 6th one just got announced to come out. I only read to the 4th one, so I don't know, but a lot of people like them, so I still recommend them even though I didn't finish the series. Lastly, I have 1 fantasy and 3 thrillers / murder mystery. So this, Once Upon a Broken Heart, I love this trilogy. I read all 3 books back to back to back. It was so good. I loved them so much. I will say the first one is probably like my least favorite one. So if you're having trouble getting into it, just keep pushing through. I swear it'll be worth it. Okay, so basically just to explain this, it's about Evangeline Fox, and she believes that her true love is cursed because he is getting married to her stepsister, which is super out of character for him. So in this world, there's a bunch of fates, and they're just gods of certain things. Like one is the god of chaos, and she ends up going to the chapel, and she ends up praying to one of the fates, and he's the Prince of Hearts. So it will help you get your happily ever after, but it will have a cost. But of course, we know how that ends, and it's just super cute. And the second book is just amazing. I haven't read Caraval by the same author, which they say you should read that trilogy before this one. I didn't have any issues with that, but I'm sure it would be nice to have some information. So I really recommend this. Next is The Housemaid. This is one of the only adult books I'm recommending. This was really good. This is my first like thriller, but a lot of times I read murder mysteries, so this was a little bit different, but I really liked this book. I really liked Frida McFadden's writing, and right now I'm reading The Inmate by her. I'm not that far into it, but I'm liking it so far. Anyway, this book is super good. Again, I'm not really going to explain it because the movie just came out, so I think everyone knows what it's about, but the book was super good. I haven't watched the movie, and I don't think I will because I'm not really into those type of films, but the book was super good. Next is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Greek Row. I'm just putting these together because they're so similar, but I'm not going to really explain this because I'm sure you know exactly what it's about. But basically it's just about Pip, and for her senior project, I believe, she ends up solving a closed case that happened a few years back in her small town about 2 seniors who died, and one of them is the boyfriend, and a lot of people think it's him, but Pip is not so sure. She thinks that it's someone else, but she doesn't know who, so she ends up solving the case, but it's supposed to be a closed case, but as she's solving it, she starts to realize that it's starting to get reopened because it's not finished. There's the second and third book. I like the first book the best, but I know a lot of people love the second one. And there's also a show with this, which I only watched the first few episodes, but my friend liked it. So I think if you like this book, maybe try the show. Next is Greek Row. This author, she's new. This was her debut novel, and it's available on Amazon. She self-published, which I think is super cool. And yeah, but it's kind of a similar thing where she's solving a close case. But in this one, she lives in a sorority at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. but I really liked it. If you liked A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and it also has a lot of like fashion vibes, cute vibes, so I think if you like Legally Blonde or Clueless too, this would be a really fun book to pick up. And yeah, I really liked it. I think learning about how the sorority works and like the bonds that they make between each sister, I think that was really interesting. And while reading it, I honestly was starting to think about the idea of being in a sorority because the author was actually in a sorority. So I just think that's super cool. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video helped. Please like, subscribe, comment, do anything to boost this video. I really want to start growing my booktube. And yeah, just comment if you liked any of these books, if you want to read them. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!